Hello, welcome to our Zoom friends and online streamers. We're having a combined Eros Revolution and an early start on my new podcast that is called Conversations with Women, apparently today. It's a little hybrid today. You've got me and you've got Maya. So yeah, and we're talking about call and response today, which you probably have no idea what that means, but it's basically how women have call and men have response. Super controversial subject for many reasons these days in this socio-political climate. But yeah, so we're talking about that today, and we're going to dive right into sperm race. One moment, sharing. Okay, here we go. I got it. I need to calm down.
Are live in Los Angeles for the world's very first sperm race. Samples are ready. The race of a lifetime is about to begin. Damn, don't get too close now, shit.
This part was the part that was funniest to me. How the wrestlers do it. Okay, so that's kind of okay, so I think of this as like literally the most, I don't even have the words, like the idea that this like sperm in a conception process races to the finish line and the strongest sperm makes it to the egg, and that's kind of how we get humans. That's how that goes. This is like the highest, most ridiculous possible expression of this somehow, and the most masculine that you could possibly get with that story, right? And so then I'm going to show you the truth. Okay, here's the truth. This is from July of this year. The choice of sperm is entirely up to the egg. So why does the myth of racing sperm persist? And so we go down into this article a little bit. They're runners in this epic race. I don't even know if this was in response to the sperm race thing or if this is just in response to that persistent, idea that's been around forever. But it goes into, how the egg is actually like drawing in the sperm that it intuitively wants to draw in. That's like the right, I don't know, fit or something, the right, I don't know, vibe. And it's rejecting and making it harder for the ones that aren't the right one to get to it. And that's actually the reality. And I feel like if because this is very like erotically aligned. Like this is what before the science even came out long ago, we were already talking about this on kind of like a relational level, like women having this incredible power, this emanation, this type of magnet that does exactly that, like down to the egg level. That's what we're biologically doing. And so I think if we could just, small order, but if we could just bring that biological understanding of how it actually works between egg and sperm all the way out through all the layers of womanhood and all the layers of relating with man and with the world and with like the masculine and between the masculine and the feminine and in your own being and outside of you and inside and all of it, like we'd really be going places as a world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So this is like our first topic. Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think firstly it's just I think that it is so fascinating when we find the, we kind of go through these things. There'll be cultural memes that take over, and then they become like cultural assumptions and just kind of norms, standards, like truths, the way that things are. And then and so it's something like that the sperm are on this massive race, and that they're all chasing the woman, that men are the ones who are chasing women, all of these things. And then there'll be some kind of either like thought group, something that's like, oh, I think that there's actually a deeper reality. I think that there's a deeper truth to what is actually happening. And then you can kind of see the cultural like staggering kind of moment to try to get back to that deeper truth. And so this way that in our life, it was like we talked in many levels about how women call men, and women are the ones with the power to call. And it's this kind of controversial thing to say, that women have power.
Like, it
alone.
shouldn't be, but it is.
And then there's these very interesting ways that then you begin to see the reality of that as different, as things like this, like a basic kind of concept of science like emerges, and people start talking about it again, and then you get to see, oh, in reality, sperm might be quite quick, they might be fast, they're moving a whole lot, but it still is the egg that is the one that is choosing and calling them in or not.
You could rush to be in line to be assessed first.
Yeah. You can make yourself more sensitive.
Right?
But how in the end it is, and so I think that's kind of one level of interesting aspects of it, is when you understand a deeper truth about something, about the way that things work, and then you can see these ways that you can see culture memes switch between one thing and another, and then different understandings rise up, and I think it's good to kind of like flesh through many different like versions of it to kind of get a holistic understanding, but then to kind of see this level of it popping up, and like when means begin to change, then realities begin to change about people.
So then what does it mean that sperm races are on college campuses and such, probably about to take off like crazy, even while this science is coming out that completely kind of puts that, and I ask that because that's something that I see so much right now, like when there's two sides to something, both are so intense right now. It's like, here's everything you could possibly do to like explain the actual truth of something, and here's the other thing that's not the truth, that's so loud that everyone just kind of is going on that bandwagon because it's loud and bright and hilarious, and Ty Dolla $ign is there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
there was a single woman in that video. I have to be honest. I watched several from that event as well and picked one, and I did not see a single woman in any of them.
Yeah, I think that there's a few one thing that I can't remember if this was actually true, if this was something I heard or something I deduced, but also that this kind of ties in with the another thing that I think a lot of people are talking about, which is like fertility rates dropping, and that this is like a campaign to encourage understanding fertility on the men's side. And so it's like, how do we get men to understand fertility? Make it a fucking contest. Make it a race.
Okay, I mean, that's kind of cool.
and that they gamified this like, to what level can we test your manhood?
Oh my God.
To have you understand this part of yourself. So there's one level where I'm like, it's kind of cool that they're like even they're even kind of, they like made masculine something that's kind of like otherwise gay or something. Like, let's all talk about our sperm together.
Facing down, staring at each other like they do in the MMA fights.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's MMA fights and stuff, It's always, which always to me,
WWF,
I always have to think for a second, what is this advertising? Are these dudes about to make out? What's going on? This looks hot. Oh, it's MMA. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And so I think it's brilliant, concepting of whoever did, how do we get guys to talk about their sperm and not feel gay about it? But then, but then, but then, I think it's this, then it still is not. So on the one hand, that's happening. On another hand, uh, I mean, I think that the deeper question is how do you get, it always has to start with women, I guess, is the like bottom line. It always has to start with women.
For better or
Women
worse.
have to be the first ones to admit who they are and what they know and what's actually up, what's happening. Otherwise, men are out here in these streets having sperm wars.
Doing the best they damn can.
Yeah, making the funnest circus that they can possibly make with what they got going for them. But to truly educate, to truly clue in men to a deeper reality, to a deeper truth, and one that says that the thing you are being called by is something issuing from her body on every level, would require first a conversation with the women. So I think at this point we can show them the next video.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay, prepare yourselves, all right? If you are not aware that women 100% know what the fuck we're doing. Oh God, I always just start cussing up a storm on these things. But if you were not aware that we always know what we're doing when we are doing shit, we know, okay? So just get ready. Gotta find it. Crap. Where are you? There it is. One moment. Okay, here we go.
Come on, boys. Won't you shake a poor sinner's
GF means
hand?
girlfriend. I should have known.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you know also that that's like a more recent one, but do you remember when there was that whole trend for a while that was that Taylor Swift song Masterminds?
And what they do?
And okay, so there's some, I don't, no offense to anyone if you're like a Swiftie or whatever. I am not a fan of Taylor Swift music. I'm just not. But it was, so I'm trying to remember, but it was like this song that was like about how it sounds cute. The music itself sounds kind of cute, but when you listen to the lyrics, she's basically talking about how she masterminded her way into a whole relationship, but that he doesn't know, that kind of thing. And so then there was this trend that really took off, and like millions of people made videos basically giving up, women, all women, giving up how they created the whole way that he proposed or that they got together or whatever. And some of it was like, I would honestly say beyond borderline stalking a little bit. Like it would be like he often would check in at various locations on social media, and so I would follow literally where he was in his physical location and then show up at those places to put myself in his path till he asked me out. And then I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'd love to, or like how you set up the whole proposal thing, putting your using his laptop or computer, being like, oh, can I use your computer for something? And then looking up wedding rings to get wedding rings into your algorithm, like things like that. I mean, these are the light ones. Like this was a wild trend, and all these women like gave up how they masterminded their way into these relationships.
Yeah, and that's really it's just like the levels of what it makes me think is the levels of concreteness or the levels of overtness that this exists on, again, it's like, there's the biological level, like a egg and sperm, and then there's like all of these, as you like go further and further out, to behaviors and things that women might do. When you're talking about that, I'm like, what that really shows is women don't even realize that they don't even need to do all that.
We're working way too hard for the amount of magnetism that you could just turn on.
Right.
Which the next one will go into.
Right.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet. We're still in this, but it's just really, I think so. The video itself showing that there's a way that women always know how much is back here, and it's always a calculation of how much do I, how do I like, how much do I reveal at what level, at which stage, out the gate, and for the way that the culture is and the way that women are conditioned, it's almost always, how do I present the sweetest, nicest, low-key, low-maintenance, low-effort version of myself on the front end until you've agreed, you've given the handshake, and then now I open the whole
actual thing
The
that
whole-
you're
oops.
getting into. Oh.
I open the entirety of what exists back here in my soul that I didn't reveal at the
Well,
front.
and that would even be lucky if you get that.
Right.
A woman is just as probably more likely to actually just reveal, I'm thinking now, her tumescence, which is what all the things in that video were, cleanliness and like.
Break that down.
So it's like, you said this brilliant thing to me the other day about how the world is being held hostage by the feminine right now, but it's a feminine that refuses to turn on. Otherwise, it wouldn't be hostage. It would just be women having everything actually just take its right place in creation, but instead it's like a hostage situation because she won't turn on. And it's like that. It's like, oh, I'm super gonna be so low maintenance and easygoing and chill, and you should get together with me because of that. And okay, now I have you. Do I really have you? Are you locked in? I've really got you, Okay, cool. Then now I'm gonna like dump all my tumescence onto you. And then probably also stop like showing up anywhere near my best, which is what I brought out to get you in the first place. And just kind of let it, devolve into a tumescent place. And if you don't have any skill as a man in penetrating tumescence, and you don't have any standards on how you'll allow the relationship to go, then, you're fucked, I'm fucked, and we're just stay in my tumescent hostage taking situation for as long as I can tolerate it. And then I'll discard you like you are an object when I feel like it. I was talking to
Preach.
Caroline last night about this.
break down what the then I unload my tumescence onto, since people, for the viewers at home.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all those things, I'm not going to play it again, but let me just what did she say? Clingy, needy. Maybe we will just play it again. It's very short. I think it's good for people to see this, Okay, 1 second. Here, we'll play it right there. Okay. Clingy, shopping addiction, always hungry, jealous, needs validation. Oh my God, chronic biter. Hates being told no. Yeah, okay. Chronic biter.
Random, specific.
That reminds me of that intern at the law firm recently that bit 12 people before she got fired or whatever, or sued or something. That shit was crazy. Anyway, that would actually be a good one because there's a whole set we'll do that one on a different episode. But it's like whatever your tumescent behaviors are as a woman, I pretend to be low maintenance on the front end, but like the reality is, I'm actually extremely high maintenance. I want a lot from you. Like I want your absolute best, but I won't give you my best if I don't have to. And so if you accept what's anything less than my best effort, then I will just give you that and only go along with that, but ask so much of you, and it's like brattiness and, being like short and mean in how I speak to you. It's like acting like a baby and like pulling on you, like acting like a needy baby and like pulling on you to like take care of me, like devolve it, like making you into kind of a dad and then me into like kind of a little girl that needs to be taken care of or whatever. Um, just kind of always, oh, this is a good one for me. I just always like, I'll just have, there will just be some kind of deep on melancholia, ennui in my heart that we don't know where it came from or why it's so deep. And there's nothing you can do about it. And there's definitely nothing I can do about it. And it's just going to kind of be there, like a melancholic presence in the room. Forever.
Pisces.
Like,
Pisces.
Right? Yeah, I want to hear the Scorpio ones. But like that, you know, like everybody has their own set of like tumescent behaviors, right? And so I'm like, okay, did I really hook you in? Did I get you? Okay, now here's all my tumescence, you know? And then, but then like as an erotic woman, like I have genuinely learned how to offer. I just didn't even know coming into this. I didn't even know what it meant to offer the real thing. I didn't even understand what the real thing was. I thought the real thing was like romance. Like I thought the real thing was like whatever you pour out into someone when you're really in love with them and you're like, oh my God, adoration, I guess. I thought the real thing was adoring someone, and it's not. It's really not. Like the real thing isn't this that trade in adoration and specialness and stuff at all. It's like it's opening up my system and learning how to, the thing that I open in orgasmic meditation, you know, the thing that I open in my meditation in my sitting meditation practice, the thing that I open when I'm joyfully producing in my purpose, the thing that I open often also with like woman friends, you know, where it's just kind of this like this joy Aubrey, that it's more like that thing. It's actually pouring that out onto a man in a clean way that isn't taking his perceiving of the beauty of who I am and what comes through me for myself, you know, like I take it for myself and eat it for my validation and to reify myself and I'm so amazing and my value is so low that I'm going to take every way that you look at me with the googly eyes. It's over here to shore up my sense of value, and then you're on the hook to keep giving me that, and then I'm not producing my own value, so I really have nothing to offer you, and this is how women lose all their power in a relationship. Anyways, this could be its whole own. I'm actually going to teach a woman course soon. We just are creating it on the platform today. It's going to be like a 4-week series soon, with a special discount for members. So get in on that. There's going to be a men's one too. Eli's going to do the men's one and I'm going to be the women's one. So if you want more information on all of this, we can go into that. But this could be like a year-long course, but we do 4-week one.
Start.
Where are we?
To start. So basically there's always a world back here. I think that that's a cool place to return to, which is that there is such a universe within women. And that is maybe part of the whole confrontation for women and for men in this whole dynamic, is that women have to come to and realize and accept and admit to what degree that she even has to explore and open and do work within herself to be able to access all of that exists back there. Most of the time, which she doesn't even know how to talk about, she doesn't know how to access, and so then to then have the task of, okay, and now communicate that to another person how to get there is like, it seems nearly unreachable, I think, for most women to be like, how do I describe this invisible world? How do I describe this entire mansion that exists within me? And so let's just not. And instead we'll play in the sandbox. And
this is the celestial mansion and the doghouse.
Yeah. So we'll play in the doghouse, in the sandbox, in just the absolute lowest common denominator of existence. And I'll just let you think you know all the rules, and I will just work with you on those. So like everything from how we relate to and how you talk to me and how we connect to, you know, in making out and intimate conditions, where, so that's the, you know, and so the just settling and just settling and just settling for the absolute lowest availability and the lowest, like, okay, well, I guess you're right. We'll just do that. And the tremendous, tremendous dissatisfaction that guarantee you probably like all women experience nearly in the vast majority of their relating, because they aren't actually getting the spot touched. And the spot would be that place inside of her. And a combination, they're not getting it touched, but they're not opening it, they're not revealing it to be. They're not communicating in such a way that would give access to that place. And so with that cut off and with that absent, you have a world that looks very different than how it would were she to open that and to grant access and grant knowledge into the garden.
The garden. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Wow, I love that so much. There was something you said. You just dropped us into such a beautiful, you really took us there. I just love that. I can't even remember it because I'm just so in my body now. My brain is just happy.
Well, I think from here it's like describe what that place is like for you.
Well, call is like, all women have our fight with call. We all have our sacred battle, many years long, however long it is for each woman, with call. I mean, I think some women, I used to feel only vaguely aware of it. Like I knew from a young age. I think we all kind of figure out from a young age we have some kind of influence in our environment for sure, but we don't really think about it that much and more learn to use it or conceal it to the best of our ability or whatever instinctively. So there's that level of it. And then there's, you know, coming to realize that it might be something you actually need to learn how to like work with. And in that, there's just the kind of horrifying. For me, it was horrifying. Okay, maybe Maya's experience was different, but for me, I was like, I was, some of you may have taken classes that I've taught and heard my story about how introverted I was and how shy I was. And so for me to come to the that I have such a huge impact on my environment and beyond my environment, anyone I'm connected to, and was so horrifying. Like I was like, no, I don't want to even figure out how exposed I will have to become and live in my soul to integrate that reality. Like it's been a really long process for me to like come to terms with having power as a woman. And I didn't realize this, but somewhere in the back of my mind, I kept thinking the best that I would ever get in my relationship to my own call and like magnetism would be like not tolerance per se, but like it would be like you finally got some skill with it, you're not being dumb with it anymore, and call it a day, you know, and just use it well. Use your power, use the nuclear power well. Don't fuck a bunch of stuff up and just like do, you know, that'll be good enough. And quite recently I've been having this experience of fun with it. It has become something that is actually entering into the realm of fun. And feeling, you know, my emanation of power, like in a room and like in my community and with my friends and with the men in my life and all of that, like really actually opening up a little more into that, a little more at a time, so I don't freak myself out too much all at once with how much power, you know, is actually like available to all us women, with practice and with like work. And I've been just kind of opening it up a little bit more and just kind of see, and I'm like, oh, you know, one of the biggest things lately that I've noticed is it's like you can move your whole environment in a direction and in a way that everyone around you feels brighter, smarter, more relaxed, more joyful, more in their, more like just relaxed in their purpose, in their function loosed, um, with a drop. You don't even got to do a lot. You don't got to do a whole lot at all. You just a drop of just your real erotic essence, you know, a drop of your actual desire, a drop of appreciation and gratitude, and just taking in the beauty of the people around you and then sharing that. A drop of enjoying your food really deeply, even like, and being like, this chicken is amazing. Like that's a drop, and your whole, everyone around you, you know, like benefits. And so call is becoming more like that now, and it's becoming actually a little more fun than just harrowing.
Yeah. And then how would you describe the world that's back there?
The world that's back, that's the woman world that's back here. Well, it's like, I don't know if you guys have ever taken psychedelics. Okay, if you have, then you know. It's a lot like that. And if you haven't, I'm gonna try to describe it. It's like, okay, it's a little bit like um, picture right before the sun comes up at sunrise, and the whole air and environment is like that kind of twilight color, you know, where it's like starting to get light, but the sun isn't actually, you know, visible over the horizon yet. And you're looking at a whole field of lilies. And if you really look at the field of lilies, you can feel them preparing for the touch of the sun, and they're like quivering for the light because they've been in the dark all night, and they are nourished by the sun, like directly, and so they live on it, and so they're like quivering for the light, and then the light starts to break across the field of lilies, and the lilies like slowly open their petals, and their like whole little lily body like turns towards the light, and they like their petals like slow, like so sensually slowly open to like the exact angle that lets in as much of the light as possible, and then more light comes in and they open more, and they're at the level of sensitivity and the precision with which they are like opening and surrendering to be able to take in and receive as much of that heaven light as possible is what it's like to be a woman. It's that level of sensitivity all the time, or like there's a, you know, where we do things to like diminish it and decrease it because it's so intense to live like that. But that's actually the level of sensitivity that we have to being in a body, to our environment, to the people around us, to what you say and what you don't say, and how you look at us and how you don't look at us, and to our food and to what we desire and what we don't desire, and to what energies are coming through us that day, and what we want more of to come through and what we're scared of, and all of it. It's that level of trembling sensitivity all the time.
I could talk about this just like all day long.
All day long.
The and so as having the experience of that, that's what then one has to learn as a woman, how to translate from that kind of experience all the way out to the front lines of this reality. And that there's this, what she was saying also, this very interesting equation of you don't actually have to do a whole lot. And so when women are out there doing so much, following your Snapchat location to go find you so that you run into her and see her and then remember she exists, all of that is 7 million levels of overtness on top of that reality that exists within her, and that far away that she is from that place herself. The further out she goes in that direction, the further away she is from herself, from that true inner kingdom. And so then for women, it's how to stay seated in your throne of this celestial palace and never leave. And then progressively learn how to radiate it out in the proper and appropriate amounts into any environment that you're in, such that it benefits from your unique flavor and your unique gift that you can bring. And then the lifelong journey of seeing every place where you overpay, where you overspend from that resource and you overextend out into the world. And that's a direct reflection on your own understanding of your value and your own understanding of the preciousness of what that is and how little it takes to actually create what is out here.
Wow.
Next video.
Okay. This
So-
video has no sound. No one panic. Oh, this one. Okay.
Three women get makeovers before signing divorce papers. Watch how their exes react. So you have these three women doing the full deal, full makeover. Also, what this is implying is that they have not been looking this way in their marriage.
That's the implication.
And so now is the moment.
Oh my God. I literally can't even look at their. It made me want to cry so bad. Wild.
I just wanted to actually take a moment, and if we want some audience participation at this time, I would love to just hear some reflections of what you saw before we go into our commentary on it. just anything that you saw from that experience, or how it made you feel, or what it made you think. Just short, brief, but if anyone in our live audience wants to share something. If not, we can just go straight into our own commentary because we have so many thoughts. But it's just like it's just it's one of these videos that, like, as seeing it, I feel like the intention with which it was made and what it's trying to portray, and then how it impacted us watching it, was, I think, so different. And so I was just curious how you feel like when you see that, just thinking now for yourself, if you like just take a minute, like what you felt. And then you can.
So Lubka actually sent this in a few days ago, and I didn't, I was like, oh, it's like a man-woman one. I'll have to watch that when I'm sure we're doing like kind of a man-woman theme again. And so I finally looked at it today, and I almost started bawling. Like the men's faces, especially the first two. The last one, I was like, they might really be done. They might just be done. Like, I think they hate each other and they're done. But the first two men, I was like, oh my God. Like, I think my first thought was, it's like, it was something like this devastation at how we torture men. I felt so sad, like so sad at how women have come to this place where we torture men that way, like from that place. Like, it's one thing to be in like deep relating play with a man and be like torturous in a certain way that's for both of your liberation. And this was not that. It didn't feel like that. And maybe it could even become that. Maybe it became a window for some of them. I like to think so. Like, but it felt like it was posed in this way of this fuck you. Like, I'm on my way out the door and I'm just going to show you what you're missing now. Good luck, And it was just so awful because, like Maya said, the implication is they obviously haven't been bringing out that side of themselves. And it's like, it's not about like makeup and looking pretty and stuff. Like, for women, when we put in that kind of effort with makeup and hair and our outfit and everything, it's not always, but it often is a reflection of our decision to bring out like our actual Eros, or our actual radiance, or like our call, or our offering, right? Our offering of our unique beauty. Sometimes it's to cover it, with something, but a lot of times we do that when we want to like shine, and so they hadn't been doing that, and then decided to do it on their way out the door. And while I understand that the motivation of a divorce and that place where there's finally some, like, maybe even a little bit of hot, like, friction between the two of you, where there hasn't been any heat maybe in years or something, can be motivation to bring something out that you haven't been, and to kind of like be like, oh yeah, I'm hot. I forgot I'm hot. I get that. Like, I get the woman side of it, but their faces, oh my God, their little faces. I just felt like they were like, this is all I wanted. I just wanted you. Like, the actual, your you, like your essence that you probably showed me at the beginning that had me want to come in at all, and like be with you and marry you, and it was just like, I don't know, it just broke my heart.
Yeah. And also the thing with the women, of the attitude of, this is your fault, and the wrong thinking of that, again, all of these things that we're talking about, they have to start with women owning it themselves, and that it was their choice to present that, to offer that at the beginning, and then to let it go. And it was their choice that they let that go, and they stopped answering to the calls that were issued to them by their own desire. And when they stop listening and answering the calls issued by their own desire, then they stop asking for them in relationship. And progressively, you see then the lights in a woman just turn down, turn down, turn down, until everyone knows that experience of seeing a woman who has been in a relationship for a long time and just isn't hot anymore. That's just kind of like the surface level. You're just like, she like, it's just not hot anymore. But it's not about, like Aubrey said, the way that she looks per se, even though it is very affected on the outside, but it's that inner fidelity to listening to those risky, fertile desires that she can hear just in the back of her consciousness. I want this, try this, touch me here. That are so permitted in the beginning of a relationship. And I think often one gap is that then there's kind of a level of it that everyone is maybe more well aware of, and then it's when it passes a certain place where it actually gets deeper. The levels of desire just continue. They just keep getting deeper, and everyone has kind of the place where they drop off of, okay, that's enough, I don't want to hear anymore. And whatever your version of where that happens for you is then where you are no longer in relationship. You're in contract with a person. You're in routine with a person, but you're no longer in a living relationship with the person.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, really. Okay, so the Eros there, but if you look at this through an Eros lens, and these were people who are erotic, and maybe they are. I mean, we don't know what these people got going on. I mean, they went on some show to do this thing. They might be kind of spicy and adventurous, cool people. Maybe they're hella erotic. We don't know. But if you look, if they are, then it's kind of actually a really hot play, because it could open, like there's this sutra, this Eros sutra called like breakups hold the most potential in human experience, or something like that. And there's this thing that Nicole wrote a long time ago called what was the thing with the 8? It was like this beautiful thing about breaking up and all the things that,
the laws of erotic
love. It was like fall out of love. Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, but that's basically like so it's like in Eros, there's a lot of different things on how great breaking up often in a certain way can be, and that to have the relationship remain dynamic and alive, and the underlying connection between you that you're both tending to, like a fire that you're stoking, tending to well, for that to remain ablaze and healthy, and a big fire. A lot of the surface level ways of interacting up here can't get to like static or stuck or whatever. And so like, okay, they're getting divorced, that's hot. Like, and she's like, I'm gonna have you remember how hot I am. And then how could he play back instead of just being hurt there or injured there or whatever? Maybe he could play back and be like, text her later and be like, so like you're bringing her back out, huh? So like, are you like, what's that like for you? Or like, it depends on what their relationship is, like a lot of times women respond better to a little bit more challenge than coddling, and so texting and even being like, you looked hot today, might not even be the hottest play someone could do. You know what I mean? It's like, there's so many different ways to go with it after that. And so even though it did make me sad, it only makes me sad if they don't take advantage of the erotic play available. Otherwise, it's so hot.
Period.
Period. I think we end on that note.
I love that.
Yeah. So do you have the things to say now?
Okay.
One moment, we're
That's it
gathering
for-
the final things to say.
Well, I think the first thing is just we so appreciate everyone who comes to these talks, and we have so much that we are day in and day out building on the Eros platform. And so if you are on any of our social channels and you see this and you haven't yet been to the Eros platform, really recommend it. Erosplatform.com. We have tons and tons, just mountains of videos. We have online courses. We have these podcasts that we've got going on. You can read Eros Sutras for free on there. There's just such a world of erotic education that one can dip fully into, and so go to that. If you haven't learned the practice of Om, we have a class that will be coming up on, when's the next class?
It changed recently, so now I don't know.
We have a class that will be coming up in about 3 weeks from now. It's in mid-September. So also if you go onto the Eros platform, you can see the date of that, mid-September. If you want to learn the practice of Om, there's a free few-hour class that you can take. And then, hey, here we
Thank you.
go.
Yes, thank
September 20th. Fantastic. So September 20th, you can go here on the Eros platform and then, register for that. It's a 3-hour online live event that's really fun, and you get to learn the practice. Thank you so much, tech support. And and so with that, we will be back on Monday for our next episode of the podcast. Tune in, and until then, stay turned